blessings, and good evening. Welcome to another edition of King Talk Tuesdays. I'm your host, Andy King, the show with real views, real news, and real talk. Here on King Talk Tuesdays, we cover so many topics, including education, health, economics, spirituality, and so much more. Please, I look forward to you all joining me for more dynamic and inspiring conversations each and every week. King Talk Tuesdays is streaming live on Facebook and on YouTube every Tuesday at 8 p.m. We also air on BronxNet Television at 10:30 on Thursday evenings, as well as Optimum Channel 70 and Fios Channel 2136. We are also streaming on a number of streaming services such as Roku TV, Amazon Prime, Millennium TV 24, and Clash TV. I encourage all our viewers to subscribe to our YouTube channel so you do not miss any of our episodes. You can also check your local listings to check any of our previous episodes on King Talk Tuesdays airing throughout the week. I want to thank everyone who's been tuning in and supporting King Talk Tuesdays over the years. And you know what I say, right? Remember what? Remember what? Remember what? People pay attention to people who participate. So tell a friend, tell a neighbor that King Talk Tuesdays is airing right now so they can share any comments or questions on our Facebook or YouTube comment list, or send us an email at kingtalktuesdays@gmail.com. Again, our email address is kingtalktuesdays@gmail.com for any thoughts, comments, or questions. We'll be right back on King Talk Tuesdays after a couple of messages from our friends.
Welcome to Therodynamics, where we get you back to life. We offer physical therapy, occupational therapy, and speech therapy. We accept all major insurances. Don't worry about an appointment. At Therodynamics, walk-ins are accepted. We have locations in the Bronx, Manhattan, Queens, and New Jersey. Our therapists, combined with our cutting-edge technology, will get you back to life. Visit our website at www.therodynamics.com for locations, services, and more.
Hi, Frank Perez here from Eastchester Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram, where you'll always pay the least in the East. Right now, we're having a huge end of summer markdown sales event. Every vehicle is priced to sell. Take advantage of low financing, huge savings up to $15,000 off MSRP, plus get the best value for your trade.
Lease a new 2023 Jeep Wrangler 4xe or the all-new 2024 Dodge Hornet, your choice, for $399 per month.
Why shop anywhere else? Eastchester Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram, pay the least in the East.
Jeep Adventure Days.
Oh, yes, play the least in the East at Eastchester Jeep. We know the summer is kind of concluded and children are back in school, but still now the time as these sales are going on, go on and get your best vehicle. Also, if you have any issues with your body, whether it's your back, your hands, your elbows, your knees, Therodynamics helps put yourself back to life. You know, there's a lot of things that are happening in the world, but you know what I really want to know? Oh yeah, like the great rhythm and blues singer, God rest his soul, Marvin Gaye would always sing, what's going on, what's going on, what's going on? Well, let's talk about what's going on. Here in the month of October, we're talking about making strides on, and we want to let you know this is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, which we are talking about on this show today. And we want to let you know that making strides in the Bronx on October 22nd at Bay Plaza in Co-op City Center, we'll be having their strides at 8 a.m. as we do the walk through the jog. Been there, done it, and I'm part of it. I feel it, and I'm saying it's something that we all should look to be a part because cancer does not discriminate. So if your schedule allows, join us as Making Strides on the Bronx, October 22nd at Bay Plaza Shopping Center at 8 a.m. Secondly, we want to let you know, see, I got my blue and orange on because I love the blue and orange. Always been a blue and orange man since Walt Clyde Frazier days. That was my number when I played basketball. So that's why I got my blue and orange, because the NBA season is back. Preseason begins in New York City when the Knicks play the Boston Celtics at 7:30 on October 9th, with the first official season kicking off on October 25th. So for all my basketball heads out there, if you like a good game, I think the Knicks went to the first round. All right, they didn't get past the second round, but that's okay because at least you got to be in it to win it. So we're looking forward to a great season with the blue and orange and our Knicks doing what they do. Praying they get some more players in, but I feel confident they're in the right direction of building. So all our Knicks fans, stay tuned for more. Also, want to let you know that October is National Book Month, celebrating the importance of reading, writing, and literature. So with children being back in the classrooms, it's time for us children to pick up a book, even for us adults to pick up books. You know, we're so interested in the internet that we just clicking buttons that we don't even feel the comfort of those nice pages. You know, the smell of a book when you open up, it's a whole new vibe when you're reading a book other than just scrolling to a tablet, just swiping and swiping. So please support this month and get out and get your good book and read a good book and get yourself together on some good literature. Well, let's jump into today's show. You know, we talked about October is Cancer Awareness Month, Breast Cancer Awareness Month. And it's one of those diseases that tackles everyone. It doesn't discriminate. And when it does hit, and not only the person who's living with it, your family deals with it, your community deals with it, your neighbors live with it. Why? Because every instance is a life-saving or a life-ending event. So we want to be thankful for all those who stand the test of time, those who are in the struggle, those who fight to protect those who are living with it. But more importantly, for all of us to understand that we are family when it comes to cancer, and that no one is excluded, whether you are 5 years old, 2 years old, 25 years old, or 65 years young. So today we want to bring in three great men who are doing wonderful things prior to tackling on the disease of cancer, and continue to do the wonderful things to help and inspiration for those who are managing cancer. So with that being said, I want to bring in a good friend of mine who's been doing such wonderful work over the decades, who ran from the American Cancer Society, who was part of the Real Men Wear Pink, who's leading up in the tri-state area. I want to thank him and welcome him to King Talk Tuesdays. A good man, Paul Wolder. Welcome to King Talk Tuesday, good brother Paul. How you doing?
Thank you, Andy. Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be here. You have a great show. I'm looking forward to participating.
All right. Looking forward to hear those words of wisdom from you this morning. This is a beautiful evening. Thank you so much again. Next, we want to bring in someone who is new to the dance, but he's a firecracker in his own right as an activist for the National Action Network, and does so many other things in the city of New York just to help people. And I want to say to you, my good brother D. Perk, we love you and we got your back. Welcome to King Talk Tuesdays, my good friend Derek Perkison. Welcome, D.
Thank you. Thanks for having me, and it's great to be an honor to be here with Paul as well. Welcome, Paul.
Oh, beautiful, beautiful. And our last guest is someone who's been on the grind, advocating day in, day out.
Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be here. You have a great show. I'm looking forward to participating.
All right. Looking forward to hear those words of wisdom from you this morning. This is a beautiful evening. Thank you so much again. Next, we want to bring in someone who is new to the dance, but he's a firecracker in his own right as an activist for the National Action Network, and does so many other things in the city of New York just to help people. And I want to say to you, my good brother D. Perk, we love you and we got your back. Welcome to King Talk Tuesdays, my good friend Derek Perkison. Welcome, D.
Thank you. Thanks for having me, and it's great to be an honor to be here with Paul as well. Welcome, Paul.
Oh, beautiful, beautiful. And our last guest is someone who's been on the grind, advocating day in, day out on what the disease does to our families, our communities, and to the individuals who is experiencing this experience. So with that being said, one of the greatest advocates on the planet, Michael Singer, male breast cancer patient advocate. How you doing, brother Mike? How you feel today?
Thank you for that introduction, Andy. It's a pleasure to be here with you gentlemen this morning and talk about breast cancer and breast cancer awareness for the month of October.
Well, see what tends to happen as we get over, to my audience, as we get over 35, sometimes we don't realize it's the morning and the evening, but we are in the evening right now. I can't talk to And it's all good. Listen, let's jump right into today's conversation because our viewers want to know a little bit about your stories, who you are. So I'm going to start with you, Paul. You led the tri-state area. And what is your relationship when it comes to cancer?
Okay, well, thank you for that, Andy. I appreciate the intro. Cancer has been part of my family. My wife is a survivor. My mother was a survivor. I have had numerous family members who have passed from different cancers. My sister-in-law passed from breast cancer. My father-in-law passed from small cell lung cancer. So there's a lot of incentive in my life to fight cancers, all of them. And that's one of the things that was really enticing to me to come and work with the American Cancer Society to run the Real Men Wear Pink, which is now the Men Wear Pink campaign for New York City and Long Island. I feel really good about the men that we have involved. We do some amazing things, bringing awareness, bringing in dollars to fund the fight against cancer and the support for those who are dealing with cancer. And as you said, it's not just the patient, it's the family and friends that have to pick up the slack. American Cancer Society is there, and the Men Wear Pink campaign is a really great way to support all that the American Cancer Society does in that fight.
Well, I want to thank you for your commitment and participating. You know, I always say people pay attention to people who participate. So thank you for participating and help our neighbors, our friends, and you're a testimony. I walked the same road. I lost two, my sister-in-law to cancer, and then I lost my daughter's mother to cancer as well. So you know, that puts me right in the trenches with everyone else because you watch those who are struggling through it. You tend to pick up the pieces. But you know, the name of the good Lord calls you home. There's nothing you can do but just pray for comfort and for those individuals. So with that being said, thank you again for your commitment in participating. And you mentioned about not only the family, but those who are walking through it and to it. So I want to bring up my good friend, and I say it lightly, but seriously, welcome him to the dance, you know, because he's going to tell us his story. D. Perk, talk to us a little about what was it like for you when you learned about that you were now part of this family and culture.
Oh, Andy, thank you for allowing me to share. It's a tough situation when you're always on the outside looking in on individuals with cancer and family members. I lost my dad cancer 2010. Lost my close aunt Beverly in 2018. So when you hear these things, when that word from the doctor's mouth said it's cancer, it's a shocking thing. It's empty. Your heart drops. Your stomach is empty. All of these dreadful feelings, and then you're galvanized around your family during the course of the journey. So it's really tough, but it's inspiring, especially to be a survivor and a thriver, and then be around others who's also had struggles and challenges with this disease. It matters, and it feels refreshing. So that's why I like to take part in all the cancer awareness walks as I can, and go out and speak and tell the people it's not just females who get breast cancer, but men, we get cancer, we get breast cancer, we get all forms of cancer. So we need to stay diligent in our screening and getting checked up and eating right and trying to live a good lifestyle.
Wow, well, thank you, Andy. We thank you. We thank you for your strength. And I'm glad you mentioned that because there is this misnomer that breast cancer only belongs to women. And I do recall back a good man, an actor, you know, Shaft, shut your mouth, Richard Roundtree. You know, you talk about Shaft jumping through windows, this big tough brother just doing and knocking out things. And, you know, all of a sudden he gets knocked down by cancer, and breast cancer is that. You know, and God bless him that he's still strong, he's still moving, he's still doing the thing, and still acting today, you know, after 30 years, 40 years of being diagnosed. So God bless the brother Richard Roundtree, and you are an example. If you stay the course, do the right things, and stay spiritually connected, that you can survive this. And I pray for all of you who are surviving through the ugly disease called cancer. You know, with that, with the family member, with those experiencing, you always got to have somebody who is in the room that's waving the flag, getting the mic, getting the megaphone, you know, sitting down and telling people who don't understand this is what needs to get done. And without the advocacy of so many, nothing really gets moved. So I want to thank you, Mike Singer. We want to welcome you and Mike and talk to our viewers a little bit about your participation, your story, and how you're engaged with the American Cancer Society.
Well, thank you, Andy. So back in 2010, I received the shocking diagnosis of male breast cancer. And back in 2010, there wasn't much information on the internet or just in general about men getting breast cancer, because we're just 1% of the breast cancer population. We're the rare disease with breast cancer. And back in 2010, you just mentioned Richard Roundtree. He was the first man I actually saw who came out and talked about male breast cancer on a TV show in New York City, because prior to that, Andy, I was embarrassed about my diagnosis because I had never heard of men getting breast cancer. And then after seeing Richard Roundtree come out and talk about it, I felt like I should get out and talk about it. And the American Cancer Society was the first organization that gave me a platform during Making Strides and some other events to come out and talk about men getting breast cancer. And it was my foray into patient advocacy. And as I started to talk more about it with the American Cancer Society, I met more and more men who were kind of hiding in the shadows, who were suffering from this disease. Prior to my diagnosis, as Paul and Dee mentioned, I had a sister who was diagnosed with metastatic breast cancer in 2008. And even after her diagnosis, I did not know that men could get breast cancer. So the American Cancer Society gave me a great platform to go out and start talking about this, because the American Cancer Society, their numbers are the most up to date. In 2023, over 2,800 men are going to get diagnosed with some form of male breast cancer in this country. And unfortunately, around 530 of those men are going to die due to the latter stages of their diagnosis, because many men are embarrassed to talk about it, don't know the early warning signs. And it's just shocking when a man gets that news that he has breast cancer, because you feel like a freak. You feel like an outsider. It's definitely shock and awe when you hear that.
Well, I can only imagine when that news does come in for anybody, but especially our men. And since we start talking about men, and we have this persona granddaughter, how do I all of a sudden succumb to a cell that's eating up part of my body, which, and when we talk about the breast, we're not, the world, it is the anatomy, it is what it is. And when you talk about the breast, we always refer it to the women. We don't refer to gentlemen having breast at all. And I've met some men who do have breasts, but again, the strength of the chest is the strength of the chest. And when you tap that strength for a real man, then you're like, wow, am I lesser than a man these days? I say no. And I say thank you. And so with that being said, you guys have mentioned the American Cancer Society. We've used it, the ACS, we've used these terms. For our viewers, Paul, talk to us about who is American Cancer Society?
Okay, the American Cancer Society is the largest cancer organization in the world, save the United States government. We do everything cancer. We have a lot of research. We have a tremendous amount of support, including Hope Lodges all over the country, and a Road to Recovery program that will get people to their treatments should they have difficulty getting back and forth. American Cancer Society is there for everyone at any time, 24 hours a day. There's an 800 number that you can call to get help if you need guidance, and there are venues or avenues that we can get you to help you get the support, whether you're the patient, you're the caregiver, you're an onlooker or a family member. Wherever your need is, the American Cancer Society is there for you. And the beautiful thing about it is we're so cancer, unfortunately, that we pretty much cover all the bases. So I do Men Wear Pink, and that is primarily for breast cancer. So it's interesting that we have Michael on, because I do not have a man with breast cancer right now in my campaign. I have had in the past, but we do also defer to others if your cancer is different than breast cancer in the Men Wear Pink campaign. We try to be everything for everybody.
Well, I'm glad you said that. You say you're trying to be everything for everybody and you don't have a breast cancer survivor. Well, we're recruiting Derek Perkinson into this campaign, to be that ambassador. I was an ambassador for the Real Men Wear Pink, but now we're gonna bring it into you, D Perk. You just heard it. Paul just said you just been welcomed in. You just been recruited, man.
Absolutely, gladly, because Michael hit things spot on, man. And I was just awarded. I was just told. I don't know if it's true now, Michael, but about 2 or 3 weeks ago, Andy showed up at the Bronx Zoo. I was told I was the first male breast cancer survivor spotlight speaker for the event. So it's good to see that you've been speaking for years with the American Cancer Society, you and Paul. Yeah, man, I'm trying to pick up the mantle and advocate, especially with we talk about all of these things, not just being men, being African-American men with all the conspiracy theories and other things that we grew up with. We don't think, we need to get checked up. We don't think we need to go to the doctor and these type of things. And we really do. And a little bit about my story. I went to the doctor on my birthday, and it was because of weight loss that I went to my doctor, because I thought something was going on with that, but it was just me working and whatever the days and grinds of the daily day. So he said, he took all the tests. He said, Derek, there's nothing wrong with you. And then, like 2 days later, it grew on my nipple, and it felt like a splinter in my shirt. I kept pulling out my shirt, and I went to see him 2 days later, and if it wasn't for my wife, she had a doctor's appointment. I just left him.
Absolutely.
He's telling me, go, right. You don't be a wuss, you're okay. And I'm like, okay, this feeling to go away. My wife said, no, you need to go back to the doctor. I'm talking about it was 2 or 3 days later, guys. And I'm glad I did. And we had to cut it right away. It wasn't even a fact of, get a second, third opinion. He knew, that it had to go. And I had great diagnosis in the sense that I didn't have to cut my lymph nodes, which would have, basically made my right arm null and void, and couldn't stick needles in it and take blood pressure. And, I didn't have to have chemo, I had radiation. I have a scar from it, but it's a reminder of God's mercy because, again, Andy, I share this with you. 2 friends of mine, associates, so to speak, I grew up with them. They passed away at the same time, the rapper DMX and the rapper Black Rob. And again, they're my age, so it got me to thinking, that it has to be more than just going to work, coming home, and taking care of the family. So I'm really on the forefront of this for all people of color, the BIPOC community, and get people checked, especially our men. That it's okay. It's okay to go get checked out and keep yourself in shape.
Derek, can I just say quickly, Derek, you are so spot on. That screening is so important for men, more important than women. Not that it's the importance; it's that women they are attentive to it. Men tend not to be attentive to this, and with a little bit of screening for anything, we can get in front of problems that can become major problems. We just have to suck it up as men and say the doctor is really more important to my family and to my health and my family's health than I'm giving it credit for. And I'm sure Michael would sing that praise too, because that probably saved his life.
Knowing what I know now, I wish someone would have shared with me back then to know the early warning signs of male breast cancer, whether it's a lump around the nipple, as Dee mentioned, redness or swelling, an inverted nipple, discharge from the nipple. These are things that young men were never taught, where women were always taught how to do self-breast exams. Men need to be in touch with their bodies. And I could say Andy was on the forefront many years ago because he invited me into his office, and I did a male breast cancer self-exam, and he had a woman there showing women how to do a breast cancer exam. So Andy, you're on the forefront with the American Cancer Society of promoting awareness for male breast cancer. And I shared the stage with you at the Real Men Wear Pink back then, and it was enlightening because nobody really talked about male breast cancer. And Richard Roundtree, he was the guy. He was the guy who gave me the courage to come out and talk about it.
Mm. Well, if Shaft comes out, then we all got to come out and you're like, hey.
Absolutely, Andy.
No,
Andy was a great ambassador for Men Wear Pink just a year or so ago. I want to get him back, and I would love to get Derek and Michael back into this into my campaign. I think you guys have amazing messages. You have tremendous resiliency. Obviously, I mean, you're great men that have overcome things. Your message is important. And I hope that we can sign you up and get you going in the New York City, Long Island campaign.
Well, make sure Andy connects us via email, text, or whatever he has to do. I would definitely would appreciate being a part of that and helping some individuals in our community, save some people's lives in our community.
Thank you. And can I say quickly, Andy, we have some amazing men. I mean, you were in this just a year or so ago. We have some very professional men, very active men, successful men that are in this campaign trying to make a difference in the world against cancer. And I give them kudos. They do their own fundraising. They do their own awareness, and they have some really creative and really impactful events. So I'm happy to share them with you guys, but I'd love to get you back in, all of you.
Excellent.
Yeah. Paul, back when I was with Andy doing the Men Wear Pink, I had the opportunity to visit the Hope Lodge down in New York City. What an amazing location.
Tuesdays, the show with real views, real news, and real talk. We'll be right back on King Talk Tuesdays after a word again from a couple of our friends.
Good Neighbors Community Outreach Agency provides programs that help community residents improve their lives and support their families. Are you in need of food, clothing, employment, or a home? We also provide immigration services and passport renewal.
Hi, I'm Pastor Glad.
And I'm Lady D.
We're here to serve you.
Need help? Ask us.
You can reach us by calling 718-652-3288 or visit us at gncdcny.org.
Revolution of hip hop. Bronx Terminal Market. 610 Exterior Street. Bronx, New York. Tuesday through Sunday. Pull up.
The Golden Era, 1986 through 1990.
Wow, we're back on King Talk Tuesdays, the show with real views, real news. 8 p.m. on our Facebook and our YouTube channel, King Talk Tuesdays. Please subscribe and give us a like. We also air every Thursday at 10:30 p.m. on BronxNet Television, Optional Channel 70, as well as Fios Channel 2136. We're streaming on a number of streaming services such as Roku TV, Amazon Prime, Apple TV, Millennial TV 24, and Clash TV. We're asking everyone, please, if you have a thought or comment, email us at kingtalktuesdays@gmail.com. For future shows, if you have an idea or a thought you want to see us talk about something, email your suggestions to kingtalktuesdays@gmail.com. And like I said, we're at halftime, and as a former basketball player, I always get stretched on. Make sure my forward trip, my jump shot's still working. Whether I'm playing horse or just shooting some free throws. But this is a moment in time that I always like to offer up some prayer and some enlightenment. You know, the world has gone through some real ups and downs over the past couple of years. Even today, we're managing a space and a place that right is wrong and wrong is right. Truths don't matter. People's spiritualities are lost. And we're just in a place that people are not being kind to one another. The attacks and assault on the human condition is sad. And we got to do better as human beings. You know, if we got to struggle to get the work done, we struggle together to get the work done. But we cannot attack the human essence just in the essence of agendas. And we hurt ourselves with that. So I say to all of us who are tuning in today, you know, you got to find a center mass. You got to find a sense of spirituality. You got to find something that keeps you grounded, because when you're grounded and you're doing well for yourself, you're not busy trying to hurt somebody else. You know, one good person said, you know, people hate on you or people who are doing worse than you, because people who are doing better than you are not trying to hate on you. They're trying to help uplift you and bring you up. So we got to do better as human beings, as brothers and sisters on this planet, to do the things that matter to improve the conditions of human life, not destroy human life. So I say that. I offer prayer up to everybody. I tell everybody, talk to your higher power. If you don't have one, find one. For me, it's the Most High in Christ. And I send my prayers up to my neighbors, my friends. You do the same. Send a prayer for your neighbors. Send a prayer for yourself. Send a prayer for your community. Send a prayer for your friends. Send a prayer for your enemies. Send a prayer for your frenemies. I'm not talking about the people who are oppressing and systems that's designed to hurt. I'm talking about two genuine people who from time to time get led astray, that can become your enemy at any given moment, but they'll always been your brother or your sister on any other given day. We got to do better together as brothers and sisters on this planet. So many of us are going through things, and you never know what someone is going through when you drop ugly. So let's not be ugly. Let's be pleasant. Let's be joyful. Let's be glad in it that we have a day that the Lord has created, that we can be glad for and grateful in it. So with that being said, I want to thank everybody for tuning in again. I offer prayers, wisdom, and protection to all of us who are tuning in today, near and far, that we stay better together. With that being said, let's jump back into the second half of King Talk Tuesday. We got three dynamic men who are on the grind fighting this ugly disease called cancer. So October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. So, Paul, talk to us a little about what does that actually mean? How do we get people involved? And what direction does this month takes us?
Okay, that's a great lead, and thank you so much. So obviously, from the American Cancer Society's point of view, this is a very big month. You'll see Strides events all over New York City, actually all over the country, but some of the largest ones are in New York City. We have Central Park in Manhattan, the Bronx, Queens, Brooklyn, Staten Island, all have their own Strides events in mid-October. I'll get those dates to Andy. But that gives everybody an opportunity to come and reach out and support the American Cancer Society in the fight against breast cancer. Now, my campaign, the Men Wear Pink campaign, we do this full year. So we'll go through November and December, and we will do events, each man at his own pace, his own interest. He'll do things that he feels can get his message out, get his awareness out, and bring in some funds. And I have some great ones. We have some a bingo night coming up that one of the men is throwing. We have numerous cocktail parties that men will throw. We have a lot of really creative things. There's a pumpkin cutting contest that somebody's throwing. So cornhole. Those types of things, if you have an interest and you want to use that interest to get your voice out and let people know that this is cancer and we're trying to fight it and we'd like to raise some funds and bring some awareness, I'm happy to talk to every man out there about participating and being a part of it. And if you're thinking to yourself, I don't have the time, Paul, we can work on small time type of events for you as well. Lever your network. Bring some awareness, bring some dollars in. It's a very important time of the year to getting all of that message out and get funding in.
Well, thank you for that again. And I always say, people pay attention to people who participate. I'll keep saying it. I keep saying it to any brother who's out there. Listen, you don't have time to say, I'm too busy to save your own life. So you got to do what you got to do because you got to do it. Singer, you know, you're an advocate through all of this. What does October mean for you?
Well, people participate mostly in the month of October, Breast Cancer Awareness Month. But people have to understand breast cancer is 365 days for people who are unfortunately diagnosed with this. But the third week of October is specifically Male Breast Cancer Awareness Week. So we worked with our politicians and were recognized for that third week of October. Just gives us an extra week to promote male breast cancer awareness. And Andy, as you mentioned many times, it's hard to get men to go see their doctor when something's wrong with them. And I used to do many health fairs in the Bronx, and it would always be the wives or the women who would come over to my table first. And when I would talk to them, they would slowly bring their husband or significant other over to learn about the early warning signs of male breast cancer. But you refer to basketball a lot when you're talking, and many people don't realize that we had several NBA players and NFL players who were male breast cancer patients. I know Michael Strahan's very public about his brother who's dealt with male breast cancer, but there were players like Fatty Roland Taylor, who played for the Denver Nuggets and Virginia Squires too. Bill Melchione played for the New York Nets. You got Tony Savage, he played for the NFL for the Chargers, and Paul Dombrowski, who recently retired, who played for Tampa Bay and New England. These are sports figures and men who suffered with male breast cancer and were helping raise awareness. So October is the big month, the big push, but it's all year long for us.
All year long for you. So I got the next question. We're talking about men. Derek, I know this is your first October having to experience this. Listening to these other two gentlemen speak about it, what does October you feel gonna look like for you as you dance this new dance for the rest of your years?
Andy, I'm glad you asked that. And gentlemen, you know, it's a pleasure to be here on the show with you guys today. Really, truly a pleasure. Again, I'm 2 years removed, 2 years and 5 months removed for cancer, 29 months. And, you know, to be around other survivors and thrivers is like nothing I've ever experienced. So to that effect, I've been to the pre-kickoff at the Bronx Zoo and about a month ago. We are having a fashion show. The flyers behind me in Co-op City, the American Cancer Society making strides, and I will be the first male ever fashion breast cancer survivor to be in a fashion show, which I'm excited about. I've never been in a fashion show. And then I'm working also with Sisters, Supporting Sisters, which is a breast cancer awareness group on October 7th, Saturday in the Bronx, Katona Park. As well. But what I want to touch on really before I leave, we tap out is I want to touch on what other men said. The reason why we asking everyone to donate to the American Cancer Society, making strides, because of the research. When I was going through it, I was so fortunate and benefited from the work of everyone who came before me, including these men here, because of the advancements in cancer. I mean, it's very important, Andy, to stress this. They basically said, Derek, you know, we could put the cancers in 1, 2, 3 different buckets. If it goes in bucket A, we know this is the treatment and you need this. If bucket B, we know you need this. Like, these are the advancements. So this is why it's very important to keep the progress and advancements going. We may find a cure. We may find a way to eradicate it altogether, or we may find something that will slow the effects of it so that it doesn't kill as many people as it's taken. So that is why we're stressing donate to this organization. But they're doing great work. They're doing great work, and I'm benefiting from that work. So I firsthand. So I just wanted to stress that. But yeah, Co-op City, September 30th, 4 p.m. We'll be there. Fashion show with the Bronx Fashion Week, American Cancer Society, and October 7th, Supporting Sisters in Katona Park at 9 in the morning. Thanks for having me.
I appreciate that. So Paul, we still have a few minutes left. Actually, we have one more break, then we'll be concluding. But talk to us a little bit about, you know, the Real Men Wear. A question came in, you know, Real Men Wear Pink, and I know the name has changed. But talk a little bit more about what is the Real Men Wear Pink campaign? How did it start, and where is it today?
Okay, it's about 7 years old. American Cancer Society formed this campaign to get men involved, which I think personally is a great thing. I don't know that men are helping the women in their lives enough. And since breast cancer is still significantly a women's cancer, men are getting involved to help the women in their lives and to help eradicate breast cancer. But this campaign was designed to get men involved in particular. So what we do is we take those men, mostly professionals, certainly active in their communities, but you don't have to be professional. You just have to be somebody with a heart that wants to do good work. You work with me. We put together where your interests are, where your community is, where your support might be, and we basically work together to form a campaign or an event for you to lever that network. And so, like I said, I have people that will do a cocktail party. They'll do a pumpkin contest. They'll do lots of things. They're not coming to my head right now, but whatever it is that you want to do, we'll set something up to lever that and bring funds in and create more awareness. And what I think it does is it gives men an opportunity to help the women in their lives. Everybody knows somebody that's struggling with cancer. Everybody does, in the New York area in particular. So if you look around and you ask around to people in your life, you're going to find that the connection is greater than you even imagined. And this is your way to give back. This is your way to participate. This is your way to help ease the pain that others are going through. And I think that this campaign really does it for people that generally don't. Men don't as much as women. And here's our chance to give back and to do that. I really think that this is a great opportunity for most men. I would love, in fact, I think somebody mentioned Hope Lodge, Andy. I would love if we can put together a tour of Hope Lodge for men that are interested in this campaign. We can show them what Hope Lodge does. We can talk at that time about what American Cancer Society does from the research point of view and the support point of view. I think you'll find it's overwhelmingly impressive, and more men hopefully will want to get signed up.
Well, I'm glad for that information there because you mentioned that you tapped on so much. Our men just don't know and don't know how to show for themselves. We can show up for everybody else, but we don't know how to show up for ourselves. So, and we got to do more fundraising. I know we did a number when I was an ambassador for the Real Men Wear Pink campaign, and so talk a little bit more, Paul, about how successful has the campaign been over the past 7 years?
Okay, so it's continuously grown, right? Last year, we were number 3 in the country, the New York, Long Island campaign. We raised over $530,000. That was almost all men. And what we did was we created our own events to do that. We had some people that are just donors. Some people will do things that I call quick, leverages, like what I do is a 25 and 24. We write text messages and emails that you can send out to your network and ask them for a one-day ask. That's it. You're just asking for one day of support. Help me fight this disease, and I'm not going to ask you tomorrow. This is it. I'm just laying it up there. So if the people in your life are willing to support you, that's an easy, quick way to do it. I've had people that do full-blown poker tournaments, full-blown casino nights. They do some major fundraisers that bring in tens of thousands of dollars. Gentleman does a barbecue every single year, brings in tens of thousands of dollars. It's an amazing event that he does. But we can sit down as men and discuss what it is that you're interested in. How would you like to bring your message to your community so that it's fun? It doesn't have to be painful. It can be very successful because it has to be successful, right, Andy? No one's going to come back if they have a hard time and an unsuccessful time. So what we do is, let me give you, for instance, I have one team that does, as a group of men and women, they do a relay from Montauk to our Hope Lodge in Manhattan. It's 150 miles. They have bikers, they have runners, they have walkers, and they bring awareness. They stop at some of our corporate sponsor partners, and they do an amazing job. This particular team is from Douglas Elliman. Douglas Elliman is a great organization that supports my campaign tremendously. I couldn't say enough nice things about them. Douglas Elliman's got about 20 teams or 20 representatives. And in that vein, they'll do the things that they feel are, their best interests, their best way to get their name out, to get their message out, and to do things that will bring in funding. And it's really impressive how much they bring in. But all men do this. All men can do this, and all men should do some form of this.
Well, I appreciate that, and thank you for that. We need to take a quick break, and we talk a little bit about families and communities that have been involved who get affected by this. But there's a youth group that's always been a part of it that I started it 18 years ago, who's always supported. Family members have gone through. So we're going to be right back on King Talk Tuesdays after a message from the Bronx Youth Empowerment Program.
Great.
The Bronx Youth Empowerment Program, YEP, is a youth organization that has served the Northeast Bronx for 17 years. During our tenure, we have provided recreational and educational forums that have nurtured the growth of many youth in the community. YEP has also serviced hundreds of youngsters around New York City. YEP's target audience is youth from the age of 11 to 18 with the goal of helping youth become productive adults. YEP provides young people with resources to explore leadership skills, community involvement, and self-development. YEP consists of weekly and bi-weekly informational sessions with guest speakers from professional, political, and entertainment arenas. Also, as a part of community involvement, YEP will host trips to a variety of venues for educational and recreational experiences. As we continue to partner with other local organizations and serve our community, we will strive to unite and develop the youth in our community. The mission of the Bronx Youth Empowerment Program is building mind, body, and community.
Mind, body, and community. That's what it's all about, especially when we start talking about the development of our children, the development of our neighborhoods, the development of us. and especially for a man who's dealing with, or anybody who's dealing with cancer, how do we as a community stay united? So Derek, I know this dance is, we're welcoming to the dance. What would you say to some of the folks who want to know, how do they get more involved with your crusade and tackling this disease and helping others?
I'm glad you asked that. I'm in the process actually of starting a BIPOC Cancer Foundation to address these needs. I'm looking to partner with individuals in this space. Again, it's new, for people of color to be in this space. I haven't seen a lot of people speaking from my perspective. I haven't seen a lot of men at all speaking on the things that we're facing in the journey. The journey is very important. That's why I love to hear about the Hope Lodges. That sparked ideas in my head. And you'll be surprised when you share your story and your journey that other people will come up to you. I had a friend since '91, college friend. She works with corrections now. She was a survivor for 20 years. And she's sharing information with me in different things, organizations that's helping and providing financial assistance, that's helping providing furniture, all sorts of things. And I want to be in that type of space where we provide services and things that the family needs as well, because it's not just an individual fight. The whole family suffers when someone's fighting this fight because you're on edge. You're on edge. So we have to be brave in this fight. I like the advancements that the American Cancer Society is making in the research and the treatment. So we have hope. So I would tell everyone, get on board. We have to put finances, resources, put your time. If you don't have the money, put some time, make some phone calls. Let's eradicate this disease once and for all.
Thank you. Thank you, my brother. Michael, as an advocate, how do you encourage folks to participate?
Well, the American Cancer Society has raised billions of dollars. And it's not just for the programs that we talked about, like the Hope Lodge or Reach for Recovery or Road to Recovery. They have some of the best researchers in cancer, not just breast cancer. And when I was with Real Men Wear Pink, I had the opportunity to go to some of the labs and meet with some of the researchers. They're so dedicated and passionate about finding a cure for cancer. So people should donate, should get involved, because these dollars are going to fantastic programs that, as Deep Perk mentioned, helped one of the drugs that I was treated with. And there are breakthroughs happening all the time. So maybe they'll find a cure or something that will lead towards a cure. So I implore people to get involved, donate what they can when they can, and let's find the cure for cancer in general.
Okay, well, thank you for that. I know our time, we're in our last segment before we conclude today's show. But Paul, I want you to talk to us a little bit. You run the campaign, you've been part of this. What are some of the words of inspiration that you can tell folks? Not only is that the financial piece of being a participant, what other energies can you offer to folks to be engaged in saving a life?
Right. Well, that's a great lead in, Andy. Thank you. And like I said earlier, I think you'll find that everybody knows somebody with cancer, someone who's fighting, someone closer to you than you think. And personally, I feel like Andy was mentioning earlier, we have to be better people. We have to stop worrying about our responsibility ending at our property line and start looking at how we can help those in our neighborhoods and even in a broader reach. And this allows you to do that. And personally, I feel that the inspiration you'll find when you see the appreciation that people give you for your efforts is worth so much more than the money. It's so invaluable for all of us to feel connected to those around us. And when you help people around you, whether they're strangers or your loved ones, you see that look in their eye that they just appreciate everything that you're doing for them. That to me is worth $1 million. And the lessons that we teach our children when we do these things with them, that they see how important helping others is, and that giving back is so much more important than being selfish in life. I think that those are the things that we should all aspire to. I think that those are the things that will help our communities grow and become better places for all of us. And I think that this is what you can get by being part of any one of these campaigns is that feeling. We try to show camaraderie in my campaign. I'll do breakfast with a bunch of guys. We can share notes. So there's a little bit of a business benefit there. But a lot of them will say how important they feel, seeing the appreciation from others in the way they fight and the way they just try to promote the fight against cancer and their own products, their own campaign and events. It's really great. It really is. And you can't know it until you do it.
Oh, okay. That is so true. You won't know it until you do it. Like
Absolutely.
You do it, fellas. So you won't know it until you show up, then you know what you got to do. Michael, before we start wrapping up, what words of wisdom would you give any man that's out there going through this, don't know what to do? What other folks in the advocate world would you share with them on how to kickstart them and how do we move a conversation forward in 2023 when it comes to male breast cancer?
First and foremost, you have to be your own best advocate. You have to ask questions. You have to talk with the doctors. If you don't like what this doctor is saying, there's always other doctors to talk to. Don't be embarrassed like I was. Don't hide it, because the earlier you can get the treatment, the better your chances of survival are. So don't be embarrassed about it. Talk about it. Reach out to organizations in your area. Use resources like the American Cancer Society. They have one of the best web pages on male breast cancer, whether it's the signs, symptoms, treatment, everything is there for you now. Unfortunately, it wasn't there when I first got diagnosed, and now it's becoming more mainstream that they're including men in clinical trials and breast cancer research. So don't be embarrassed. Talk about it. Be your own best advocate.
Wow. Thank you. Thank you for that. And thank you for those inspiring words. Derek, we want to give you, as the new kid on the block, the opportunity to offer some final words of support, encouragement, or what you need actually at this moment in time in your life.
I mean, we all just need support. I reach out to the family members, friends, someone who's going through this journey of fighting cancer. Support them in any way you can. They have up and down days. Like I said, I was very blessed not to be able to take chemo. However, those that do take chemo is very, very challenging. So it's a lot of different things they go through, especially emotionally, mentally, not just physically. So support from those around you, support from those who've been through the journey. They can definitely understand and relate and will be sympathetic more so to your plight. So I always like to say, and I may not be the first to say it, but in closing, I would like to say, in this fight with cancer, I'd like to think no one fights alone.
Very good.
Like that. No one fights alone. Remember that, everybody. No one fights alone. Before we conclude, we're just going to show up some images when Derek got on it, and some images of past events, making strides and all that good stuff. So take a look at it, and we'll check it out, and then we'll be right back after that. Well, thank you. We're back. Thankful for you all who took a look at and enjoyed some of those images that were just shared. When we start talking about breast cancer, Cancer Awareness Month is in October. We want to thank Brother Paul, Brother Michael, and Brother D. Perk for joining us this week on King Talk Tuesdays to talk about the plight, talk about what's necessary, talk about the energy, but more importantly, talking about the love that's necessary for all of us as communities and family who are dealing with this ugly disease called cancer. So that being said, we've concluded. Gentlemen, thank you again. And as we always do on King Talk Tuesdays, we end every show with the scripture. And tonight's scripture reads from Psalms 103, verse 2 through 4. Bless the Lord, O my soul, and forget not all his benefits, who forgiveth all thine iniquities, who healeth all thy diseases, who redeemeth thy life from destruction, who crowneth thee with the loving kindness and tender mercies. If no one told you today, God loves you, and so do I. Your friend, your brother, and your neighbor, Andy King. Peace.